assistant professor of English at the University of Wisconsin, Baraboo, Sauk County. I moved here from Tampa, Florida. Wasn't sure what I'd find moving to a rural town in south central Wisconsin, but what I found was home. To focus on our community as a microcosm of what's going to happen across the rest of the state, I don't think people realize how many people in our community work for the state or the county. All of those people are going to receive a reduction in pay of 8 to 10%. My wife and I both are state employees, so these cuts represent the equivalent of an instant doubling of our mortgage payment.
I live in Baraboo, and I am a law enforcement officer for the state of Wisconsin. As an employee of the state of Wisconsin, the proposed so-called budget repair bill places a lot of stress on me and my budget. In my personal case, I would be looking at a cut of about $400 a month in my take-home pay, which is pretty significant for somebody at my income level.
I'm a farmer. I farm with my partner up in LaPalle, up in northwestern Sauk County. All right, so folks from up north, we just want to express our solidarity as farmers with the rest of the workers of Wisconsin. This is what democracy looks like.
Baraboo is a rural farm community. If they're the silent majority, then why did Assistant Attorney General Kloppenberg receive 55% of the vote last week in Sauk County? Republicans and conservatives like to talk about trickle-down economics. There's going to be a trickle-down effect from these cuts that could, I truly fear, throw our economy back into recession. Perhaps Governor Walker doesn't care. But those of us that have made Wisconsin our home, we do care.
Now, there's a pretty well-organized group of folks in the Baraboo area that get together and, organize votes to try and keep, progressive people on the school board. Even if it's at their own, either if not monetary expense, a little expense of their time and their effort and that sort of thing. I know that, the Recall Olson people, for example, have been going out door to door in the country. They're not just going around, walking the streets of Baraboo, but they're going and knocking in doors and then driving a quarter of a mile and getting out at the next house. And I think that shows that people really feel strongly about this. So it's good to see that.
Legacy of Leopold and LaPalle that brought us to this conservation ethic we have in the state. Just in the last few months, we've seen so many examples with proposals to violate environmental rules, to fill wetlands, and to suspend laws that protect our clean waters, and to accelerate the level of harvesting on public lands, all because we got to make more jobs. And we're going to have to relearn some of the lessons that were learned by so many people over the last century. And I guess that's the price of being progressive.